Yes. So, Miles Sherman. Can I tell the story of how we met or no?
I guess so.
I mean,
I think it's
don't.
gonna be a good story.
So I mean, I told you. Remember how
How you
how
remember
I
me?
remember you is very special because I would never forget it. Right? That sounded kind of sexual, but no, like
No homo.
no homo. So we we we've met in middle school. What was it, like sixth grade, maybe seventh grade, something like
I
that?
mean, we knew each other from elementary, but we never went to the same class until middle school.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
then in middle
That
school, we were
yeah.
like real close, like
That's right.
we're real good friends. But yeah, I think I know where the story's going.
Like I said, I probably don't want to tell it because it'll probably incriminate us. You know what I'm saying?
It'll get
But
us in trouble.
anyway, I will always remember Miles Sherman because of um, what he provided, and it changed my life. So that's one thing.
Literally.
But no, man, it's good to connect. So I know that like I said, we're real close. I went to a different high school. I
I
kind
did
of get
too.
I kind of got out of the area that where we grew up in, and then from there, we lost contact. I lost contact with everybody, man, honestly.
Same,
And
pretty
then,
much. Clean slate in a sense.
but I really do appreciate us reconnecting. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we have a lot of the same, you know, uh, goals, and we're both single fathers, and we both we align very well. You know what I mean? Like, we work out, we work, and just take care of our kids. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that's most important because we were talking about it the other day where a lot of the people that we grew up with, they didn't come out,
Nah, man.
as fortunate as us.
I mean, you wish they would have, though. You know, what I mean, like some of these people were like better than us at a lot of things. I mean, we were just guys that just got by in a sense. You know what I mean? In school.
That's exactly what I said. It's like because nobody really thought of us, that we were
We're
gonna,
under the radar.
exactly. You know what I mean? Like we went to a fucking charter school. We didn't even go to public school. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty
Like
much.
it was.
But in a way, my mom took me out of public school on the south side because a lot of my friends that I grew up with before I went to charter school are all, forget my words, meth heads,
That's
drug
what I'm
addicts,
saying. Yeah.
recovering addicts, and they're just like, they have not even a foot to stand on.
That's
You
what I'm
know what
saying.
I
They didn't expect much from us, right? That's
Yeah, pretty
why
much.
I appreciate it. Like I had my friend here last week, and he's a successful barber and he's a realtor, and I grew up with him. I met him a little bit later when I was like 15, I think,
Mm-hmm.
but he's from the same area that we are, right? And he grew up in the same. We were just kids hanging out, going to the mall, walking everywhere. Like nobody gave a fuck about us. So for us to be where we are, I really appreciate that. That's
Oh yeah, for
first
sure.
and
By far.
foremost. But so after we reconnected, you told me that you're working, and you went through a divorce, right?
Divorce before my relationship now that I mean, I've been through divorce.
Well, let's talk about that because the main thing that I wanted to talk about today was single fathers, the effects that we get from separation, from everything as far as like we're not the primary. You know what I mean? And that's the stigma that I really want to change. But tell me what happened in your situation. So you got married, and you had your daughter.
I had my daughter in the middle of my divorce. We found
That's
out.
right.
Yeah, we
That's right.
found out my ex-wife was pregnant in the middle of our divorce, and we had our daughter. You try to work on things, you try to hope for the best. Sometimes it doesn't go that way. But now, honestly, like it's taken us a long time to become cool. Like my daughter's gonna be 3 on the 18th of this month, and we're finally becoming like really cordial with each other. It's taken a lot. I mean, it usually does take a lot out of you. I mean, in the
I'm
process of
already
all
at
that.
4 years, and I'm still not at that point, and I never will be. I know that for a
You know
fact.
what though? Honestly, bro, like I mean, if it wasn't for my kind of like girlfriend now, I would have never adapted to the process of it. Like it took me a lot to open up my eyes because I was just holding on to so much stupid shit. You know what I mean? It's like things that you're holding on to when no matter what, you're gonna be stuck with this person for life, whether your daughter gets in fucking ballet, karate, becomes a chef, whatever the fuck your daughter does, you're gonna be in the process with that mom because y'all share that child together, no matter what.
So that's, man, this is a great topic. Okay, so I get what you're saying, and I've been in a few relationships after I separated from my son's mom. We were never married, but you can say it because we lived together for years.
Common law.
Got a house, bank accounts, cars together, whatever.
Yeah.
So kind of, but we were never legally married. Anyway, I know for a fact, not that I can't be civil, you know what I mean? I'm civil with my son's mom, but I will never be cordial because, this person did so much wrong to me. You know what I'm saying? And I've had these conversations like, well, you got to look past it. It's for your son. It's, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I don't do anything that affects my son. Like I said, I don't talk shit about her. I never even discuss my son's mom in front of him. We don't talk about it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you have your son, your time is your time. Just like with my daughter, when I get my daughter around, it's just me and her. It's just gonna be about what we want to do. Whether it's the park, whether it's going and eating pizza, whether it's watching Nacho Libre for 5 fucking times in one day, whatever it is. You know what I mean? That's my aspect of my view of it. I mean, in the long run, I'll never bash on her. It was in a sense, nobody's perfect in a relationship, whether it's on my side, her side.
I get it.
We were both fucking really toxic, to be truthful. We wanted this shit, is the thing. We wanted to be in each other's faces, and it was well, I'm not gonna fucking back down. And it's well, I'm not gonna back down either.
I get you.
So it's okay, well, we're gonna push each other.
Y'all were young.
Oh, I mean, she was younger than me. I think when we got married, she was 24, and I was already 27.
24.
But I mean, it's not that
still
bad. But
you should know better. 27, you should have known better. She
definitely should have known better. But at the same time, all this, okay, now think about it now, right? All these problems and all this feedback of, oh, I enjoy the bad stuff in the process of this marriage, right? It all goes back to the way you were raised, to the way you looked at your parents being with each other and things like that. So you look at it and you're well, fuck, if they did that, then I should be doing it too, because that's what I was taught. You know what I mean?
You think that affected you or her? What you said, you think that was an issue for her or for how you grew
I think
up?
that we both had issues, and we always wanted to point out each other's, but never wanted to support each other in each other's issues.
I got you, yeah.
So things like that, then that's the worst fucking thing you could do.
Yeah, that's a big negative.
And, I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's healthy. Most of the time it's not fucking healthy sometimes for that. And, I mean, I don't regret the process we went down. I don't regret having my daughter, obviously. She's the best thing in my fucking life.
Of course. I always say this, and like I said, I don't ever want to come off as that bitter, ex, or that bitter...
You're not a bitter ex. You're scarred, bro, but at the same time, man,
because me, the reason I say that I don't want to be bitter or come off bitter, I should say, is because... I know I'm never going to be cool with her. Now, I'm not saying I'm not civil. There's a difference. I never bash on her. I never say anything negative about her. I don't like her because what she did to me. But at the same time, that doesn't affect my son, because I raise my son the best. My son is my life, right? And then I never, like I said, my relationship with his mom doesn't affect my relationship with him. That's the biggest thing for me.
By far, you gotta learn how to separate the two. But honestly, bro, in order, I mean, fuck, dude, I'm in counseling now for depression and fucking anger management and all these things.
Yeah,
in the process of all these things, bro, I've learned, and there are certain people you won't be able to forgive instantly. You know what I mean? Whether it's your mom, whether it's your dad, whether it's your brother, sister, ex, kids, whatever the fuck, your dog, your neighbor's dog, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you don't forgive, there's never going to be a point. You can mentally forgive her. You don't have to say, hey, I forgive you for what the fuck you did. But in order to become the bigger person that overcomes that, bro, you got to just learn to forgive this shit, honestly.
Well, see, now, this is another thing that I don't agree on. I forgave her. I just didn't forget what she did. So because
I'll never forget.
That's what I'm saying. But because I don't forget, I understand how to treat people accordingly, right? So because I don't harbor any ill feelings towards nobody, not her, not anybody, because I don't want that on my conscience. I don't want to go through life like that. But if you do me wrong, let's just say you did something wrong to me, right? And it's just all right, whatever, you know what? I'll forgive you because you did it for whatever reason. But I will never forget it. So that because I won't forget it, then that just means that I will treat you different, or I will keep you at a distance differently. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. I don't hate anybody. I don't keep like I have a really bad relationship with some family. You know what I mean? Like my brother, people that I'm close to, and I haven't talked to them in years, and they always tell me, it's like, why do you hate him? I was like, I don't hate anybody. I forgave him for what he did, but because I understand what he did, and I will never forget the type of person that they were. They say, well, people change. Give him another chance. I'm not that type. Hopefully, he does change for the better. But he already did what he did to me.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's what I'm gonna realize it as. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's the same thing with me and my brother. Like, you know, he went through dark times with my parents being brought up the way he was brought up, and I went through dark times with my parents being the way I was brought up, and so on. So we both have our discrepancies towards things and how family was raised and blah blah blah. Yeah. Like, he got his ass kicked, and I got the verbal, mental fucking abuse. If we just want to be straight out. And I mean, in all honesty, your perspective of things saying I can forgive but I can't forget, like, bro, I'll be 100% honest. Like, maybe 5 months ago, I lost the most important lady in my life, which is my grandma, right?
Yeah.
And it feels like when she passed away, I didn't know how to take it. It was so quick and so instant that I had to step up to the plate and make sure everybody else was taken care of. Like, that's always been my thing since I was like 16 years old. I dropped out of school and had to take care of my mom. My dad just up and fucking did his own thing and didn't give a fuck, pretty much. Hey, I'll give you money and I'll say, hey, I love you and I support you and blah, blah, blah. But that's really not covering up the spaces. And this is where the whole father thing comes into play. So we'll get back to all that. So in the process of all that, you know, my mom was doing her own thing, you know, drinking, getting carried away. Father didn't give a fuck, practically had a whole other family, you know, somewhere else, yada, yada, yada. The only person I had was my grandma. So going back to those 5 months, I lost my grandma 5 months ago, right? Worst fucking feeling in the world. Like, fucking still the worst feeling. Like, it just eats me up every fucking day I wake up to know that that lady's not here. You know what I mean? In the process of all that, I had been dating a girl that was, like, probably the best thing that happened to me, but I just never mentally saw it because I was so used to the worst shit in my life. The shitty relationships, waiting for somebody to cheat on me, waiting for somebody to look for any reason to, you know, give me a fucking low blow here and there, that kind of thing. So my guard was technically always up, but wasn't fully like it used to be, but it was still there. And my view on things is that if you're going to go into something, you need to be fresh, mentally, physically, everything, right? I was fucked up in the head, I'll be 100% true. And a lot of guys will look at this like, oh man, you're a bitch, you're a pussy, blah, blah, blah. It takes a lot for a man to admit that he's a fuck up. Because the way the view in life's been is we're not supposed to be the fuck ups.
Yeah, not even that, because everybody fucks up. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for a man to admit that they have emotional trauma that they need to deal with. That's what I'm saying. Because, you know, going back into this, not only that, but when you acknowledge it, that's the issue. Because, you know, like, you know, we're raised and brought up to be like, oh, you're a man, you're not supposed to show your emotions or cry, and, you know, and we've talked about this, and I know how much it affected you, and I know, you know, that dark place that you went to, you know, because of it, and but it also ties back into things like that also affect, you know, your relationships with other women or with, you know what I'm saying?
By far. And that's where it all comes into play. Like, if you're not a good parent and you're not a good this and you don't show love and affection at a young age, your kids are going to fucking learn that, well, I don't have to show that shit. If I just show my face and go to work. Dude, like, I didn't know, like, honestly, I'm fucking 31. I didn't know that you're supposed to go home and kiss your spouse. Like, usually I was just used to walking in the door, cleaning out my lunch bag, whatever the fuck it was, and just doing what I had to do, and that was it. I never knew that.
You know what I mean? That is so funny you say that, because it's the same thing for relationships for me. Like, I didn't know that because, so I grew up with a single mom, right? My father was never around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it took me these last couple of years to understand. It's like, dude, you need to bring your girl flowers, like, after work. You know, pop up with some flowers. You need hey, you know what? Get dressed. We're gonna go out to dinner.
Date night.
You need little things like that. But because of what we went through, we weren't accustomed to it. If we had fathers that did that to our moms when we were younger and growing up, maybe that would be instilled in us, right?
Yeah.
So that also causes a problem of, like, well, you know, you are this way because of how you were raised and how you grew up.
You are
To an extent.
To an extent.
Because, you know, you're also a grown-ass man, so you got to know what's right and what's wrong.
Well, that's the thing. People say, like, oh, you're in your fucking 30s and you're this and you're that. And how do you think like that? And how does it... You know, like, people want to ask all these fucking questions, right? And 99% of the time, not to bash on guys, not to bash on girls, single moms, single dads, whatever... Shout out to my counselor, Georgianne, by the way. She's the shit. She's the best counselor I've ever had in my life.
I like that.
Yeah,
shouting out your fucking...
Georgianne is my fucking lifesaver. That lady is like the shit.
That is hilarious.
Most down-to-earth lady ever. Anyways, yeah, I go to counseling. But...
Nah, hey, man.
You
I
have
did for a period of time, too.
You know, and the thing was with my girlfriend, she was always like, you know, like, she always wanted to help. And in my view it's like, no, you're trying to pick at a weakness and see what the fuck is wrong with me so you could poke at it. And it never was that, but it was just the mental thing of going on in your head. But anyways, getting back to losing grandma, right? So the person that taught me to be emotional, physical, love, and nurturing was my grandma, right? So for years, that person, although they were there X amount of hours a day and X amount of time, that lady is probably the only lady in my life that will ever, and not sound like a bitch to guys out there that are all alpha and, oh, you bitch, whatever, fuck off. The fact of the matter is that that'll be the only lady that can take me to their room, talk to me, and make me come out crying like a bitch because I realize, yeah, I did fuck up. But I take it to heart because it's like, you know, you're absolutely right. I did fuck up.
No, that you know, you need people like that, right? And you take it harder because that was your person that would put you back on the path. And that's my mom. Like the same thing as my mom. Like I have another buddy. We were talking over the weekend. We went to go grab breakfast, and you know, he was telling me how, you know, he only had his mom, and his mom passed away, unfortunately. And I was like, man, I can only imagine that. I don't know how I would act. I can't even say how I would act because I have no idea like how that, and that kind of, it's the same thing for you. Yeah. That's your person. You know what I mean?
I mean, I had mom, but mom was mom and dad. So mom had to be, I can love you, but I also have to be that wall up to say, hey, I can only love you so much.
Yeah, grandma's that unconditional,
grandma's
like hey,
oh God, like,
unfiltered, like.
I mean, and then when you have kids and you give them grandkids, you realize like, man, why the fuck are they getting cookies? I didn't get cookies. I didn't get this. I didn't get that.
That's
but
how
it's because it's a grandma's love, and I've learned that over time. But
little things affect you. You know, psychology 101. You know what I mean? Nature and nurture, right? Like our you know, how we grew up really affected how we are. You know what I'm saying? Your relationship with your parents affects how you are, your environment, everything, right? So that's what people don't understand, and especially women, because they just feel like a man has to be perfect. A man should always know what they want, what they need to do, and that's not the case. Because look, so a little quick instance, like my son's mom, when we got together, all like the one thing that I told her, because she had an 8-month-old daughter, which is my daughter, because I raised her, she always would be my daughter, but she had an 8-month-old daughter, and you know, she got pregnant, and I was like, okay. And she was living in El Paso at the time, right? So I was like, look, I'll fly you over here. We're going to be together. Like, we're going to tackle this together. Like, because even though I wanted my son and I knew, like, I was ready to be a father, when it happened, it was just quicker than when I had planned. You know what I mean? That's really about it.
It's usually how it goes.
So when we got together, bro, she literally came to San Antonio with one suitcase of clothes. I had just moved back from San Angelo to my mom's house here to San Antonio, and I was bartending like that and going to school. We didn't have shit, bro. And I told her, it's like, I'm gonna put you in a house. I'm gonna buy you the car that you want. We're gonna have money in the bank. Like, we're gonna be good. Don't worry. Just, you know, have patience, and we'll get it done. She was like, okay. And she was down for me in the beginning, bro. Like, I'm not gonna say like she was a piece of shit all the whole time, but in the beginning she was down. And, you know, I got there, bro. I fixed my credit. I saved my money. I got promoted in my job. I did everything that we were supposed to do. Like, I was, you know, we got in a badass apartment downtown. We rented a nice newer house, and then I bought that house, I bought another house. And then right at the end, when everything was going on, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, well, we don't even go out anymore. You don't even buy me this and that. And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like,
You think money's the thing that's showing you I love
no,
you?
not that, not that. It's like I'm worried about mortgage and car notes and fucking and saving money and investing money and saving money for our kids. Like, I'm not thinking about fucking date nights on Saturdays. I'm not thinking about flowers on the way home when I just work fucking 10 to 12 hours. I'm sorry. Now look, I do think that that's important, but I just feel at that time it's like it wasn't the right time. I was like, I'm saving up money for our wedding. I'm saying all this stuff. So women expect us to be there, right? But I'm gonna say this first and foremost. I did a lot of things wrong in that relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I was unfaithful. Again, I should have done the little things that I've probably should have done, earlier. But at the end of it, I wasn't the worst guy. Yes, I did cheat on her, but as far as that, I was a good father. I provided for them very well. I did everything else that I was supposed to. But when we separated, I was like, okay, it's understandable. You know what I'm saying? Because I am the type of person now. Two things that I can never look past. If I'm in a relationship, I can't look past cheating, and I can't look past physical abuse. Like, if that happens, like, that's once you cross that line, you can't go back. So, with that happen, I'm like, okay, we'll separate. That's fine, because too many things has been done on her side. She did some shit too that I don't want to talk about, because that's her story. I'm telling my story, right? I can only say what's on my end. So that happened, and I was depressed, bro. I was depressed because I'm in this we were in my house for a month until we decided to call it quits, and she moved out. She got her own apartment, and the kids stayed with her and then with me. But imagine having for the last 4.5 years having the same woman that you're in the bed with every night. You never separate one day out of those 4 years, and then you have your kids that you tuck in every night. You wake them up every morning. You have the family environment for years. You know what I'm saying?
Something you always wanted, in a sense.
I always wanted that, bro. Because look, one thing was my dad was hardly ever around. You know what I'm saying? Second, he was 38, 39 when I was born. So I've always remembered him as an old man. Even like my earliest memories when he was an old man. And I never wanted to be an old parent. So I knew I wanted to have kids like my mid to late 20s. And I had my son when I was 24. And my daughter, I started taking care of her when I was 23. So was it a little young? Yeah, but that's what I wanted, because that's what I knew that, like, that's my future. And when you go from that to an empty house, a 2-story house, empty, you're just there by yourself. You don't see your kids for a week. A week, mind you, when you're seeing them every day. You're taking them to school, you're taking them to daycare, you're taking them to the store, like, every day, to not seeing them for a whole week. I was depressed for a long time, dude.
I mean that was me. Like, I'll be 100% realistic. Like, I fucked up my last relationship being stupid.
Well, first off, what happened with your marriage? So tell me, what was the problem that you were in the process of divorcing, and then that she got pregnant? I'm really interested in that.
We were just too toxic for each other. Honestly, we were.
Why were y'all divorcing?
Just because we couldn't connect. We couldn't connect on that level anymore. Like, we were not trying to have kids. Like, it was like, we were just trying to work on our marriage, man. It was something that wasn't meshing. Like, before the lines were connecting, and then all of a sudden we were just bashing heads.
But about what?
Just anything. Like, that was the thing. Like, oh well, we're trying to buy this. Like, we have an apartment, we have this, we have that. Your check needs to go towards this, and I'll take care of the car payment, and I'll take care of the rent. Just pay off what we have fucking financed. That way it's out of the way, and we can start enjoying ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, that was always my mentality, was pay it off, get it out of the way. And then somewhere along the lines, I kind of just lost that shit, honestly. Like, I just didn't think like that anymore for a while after my marriage. Kind of got stupid in the head and just...
I was the same way. Like, during the whole 4 years that I was with my son's mom, I took care of all the finances. Like, she worked a little bit, you know what I mean? And she brought in some money, but at the same time, like, I was the one okay, like this is due this day, this needs to be paid, this we need to pay this off, and like
Yeah.
I was the one allocating money. She wasn't that. You know what I mean?
Shout out to single moms that do that shit all the time, and shout out to exes who straighten me out in that situation. I'm not gonna say any names, but
No,
I was
mean,
horrible when I met my recent girlfriend. Like I was so fucking bad. With
yeah,
finances.
you kind of
My credit was shot to shit. I
Yeah.
had just gone through. I mean, I didn't just have to go through my divorce, but I just had all this other shit going on. I'm not gonna talk about before that. You know, family taking advantage of this, blah blah blah, and it's like somehow I meet this awesome person, but throughout that, after my marriage, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to date.
Okay, so hold on.
I became numb.
We're still okay, but we're still not done with the whole thing. So look, you were going through a divorce because you weren't.
We fucking
clicking.
hated each other. We
You
didn't
were-
love each other
you,
anymore.
You were clicking, and then so y'all were in that toxic spot of the separation, divorce, but you're still hooking up. Because I will say this 100%: people that are freshly broken up, and if they've been together for a while, if they were together for a year, 2 years, they don't just break up. They kind of fade away. They're still hooking up. They're still intimate. They're still hanging out. They're fading away.
They can come back and forth.
They can. That's what I'm saying.
And that's what happened. Like we had broken up maybe like maybe the end of October, middle of November, and Christmas parties were coming up. My work Christmas party, her work Christmas party.
I remember you
USA.
telling me. Yeah.
We had already like had everything planned out where we were gonna go, blah blah, and you know, thanks to USAA Christmas parties and drinking in the Marriott, there you go. My daughter was conceived.
Your daughter was.
Which I don't regret necessarily.
No, of course, but
like, I wish
you
it would have happened the way it should have happened
in the
our
right
marriage.
circumstances. Yeah, instead of
But
being married and happy.
it didn't happen, and in that process of her being pregnant and separated, and us, like, I never saw or felt my daughter in her mom's stomach for 9 months. First time I felt my daughter was when she was born.
Oh, really? Y'all weren't.
After that, we weren't like that no more. Yeah, so that's why, like, I think honestly, like, I mourn for that, like, feeling to, like, be able to see
that. Yeah.
To like, my biggest thing was, like, to be able to wake up next to your spouse and see their stomach grow, and be that person that goes out in the middle of the night and gets those weird ass fucking cravings y'all have.
Yes.
And does all these things. You know what I mean? And
it's definitely a very.
It's different, and in those moments, it kind of might
sentimental,
suck.
like, intimate moment. Yeah, that you'll never.
And it was snatched from me necessarily. And in that process, I told her, like, we tried to work on it. I remember when she was kind of pregnant, we tried to work on it. We tried to do couples counseling. But during those moments, not to knock on her parents being parents, we're just like, no, y'all don't need to be together. And she let them, I guess she believed them in a sense. And I'm not saying parents are wrong, and I'm not saying this, and I'm not saying that. There's always two sides to a story, and
yeah, but parents are parents, bro. Like, you're always gonna take your daughter's side when she gets older and something happens and with a boyfriend or whatever.
Oh, by far.
So you can't really knock them, like you said.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you know who you are and what you bring to the table and how you would have went about things. But I always tell this to myself: it's like, things happen for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not in that situation anymore for a reason. Have I had very lows after that? Yes. Have I had really high highs after that? Yes. I've had really great experiences after that I wouldn't have had if I was in that type of domestic, relationship,
Now that depression was kind of like dark. It wasn't like stupid bad to where, like, I'm gonna take a handful of pills and I'm gonna kill myself.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I mean, honestly,
we've all had moments where we've been fucking low.
I never considered killing myself. I always thought of how would the world be without me? Like, if I just fucking blow my brains out right now, how would everybody process it, and how would their lives be? I would hurt everybody that loves me. I would hurt my mom, my son, everybody that's important to me. Like, they're gonna be the ones that are affected. To me, it's just like, I thought about it a few times, man. Like, because you're just in a corner, and you just feel like you cannot do anything to get out of there.
Though it seems like
but it does get better.
If anybody's suffered through depression, you know that it feels like every step you take, it's like fucking 50 steps backwards. You feel like one day you wake up and you're smiling, and you're like, oh, this can be a good day. Finally, I feel a little bit better. And then all of a sudden, you take that one fucking step, and you're like, shit, I should just stay where I was. It was a safe spot. now here comes that fucking anxiety and that
Yeah, so like
cold feeling and that distant feeling and shit like that.
it's very hard, because you don't know when it hits. It's like stress. Like stress just comes about you like at a moment where you feel like you're frustrated, right? But depression, this is what I can say because I went through it. I was every symptom of depression. I would sleep. One day I would just sleep all day. I would just be in my bed and watch TV all day. Another day I would just eat all day. I would just, not want to talk to anybody, just grab food and just like feel some type of, when you eat food, you have those, those good feelings, right? I would just try to do that all day. I would walk around because I have an upbeat personality for the most part when I'm around my family and friends, and I would just put on a smile, like you said. I would just smile and be like, "Yeah, everything is good, everything is good." But secretly, I'm like, "Man, fuck!" Like, I just want to go fucking, drive off a cliff. Like,
Yeah.
so the only thing that I can say is, it gets better. It gets better. It gets better if you work at it towards every day. This is one thing that I don't agree
It's
with.
the hardest fucking job to work at in the world, though.
But look,
because it's yourself that you're working towards is the weird thing.
That's why it's easy, because you know yourself better than anybody.
Shit. I thought I knew myself,
No,
honestly.
look, I'm telling you, man, because I was in a very bad state of mind, and I came out of it because one thing that I always kept my faith. I've always came out because I'm a big believer in God.
I believe, and this is where I will like state how I feel, right? Like, and don't knock on me, people that go to church every Sunday. Like, you're doing your thing, right? I believe, but I don't go to church every Sunday.
Oh, I don't
and
either.
Some fucking people are like, dude, how the fuck can you believe? And you
Nah,
can believe
no,
in
no,
my
no,
God,
no, no.
but you don't go to church.
No.
It's like,
that's very different.
What the fuck?
That's very
Like,
different because I'm not religious. I'm not Catholic. I'm not Christian. I'm nothing. I'm not religious. I believe in God. I believe that there's a higher power. I believe in the Bible, and I follow it to the best of my interpretation because that's all it is. That's all it is. When you go to mass, or if you're Christian, whatever, you go to church, they're just giving you their interpretations of the Bible, and that's all it is, right? So that's why I don't necessarily believe in sacraments and purgatory and I don't believe in that, and praying to the Virgin Mary. I don't believe in it. So what I do is I just believe in God and I have my faith and I try to be a good person. I'm not perfect, but I'm way better 3 years ago when I separated, and I've done that. I've never cheated on a woman that I dated after her. Never. I've take those things in consideration. Like, I do, like, buy flowers for women. I do this. I consider their feelings. I do all of that. So, but with that being said, I think depression, the reason you're depressed in the beginning, I think that can definitely be cured. I think that you can come out of it.
I
You know what I'm saying?
like,
Because people, like, I have this conversation with one of my female friends, and she says, "Yeah, I have seasonal depression." I was like, "What is that?" And they're like, "Well, like in the fall, like." I was like, "Oh,
yeah, I've heard
holidays."
that, yeah.
Yeah. So I get that. I was like, "Yeah, man. If I, let's just say, I lost my mom and it's Christmas time or it's her birthday, yeah, I'm gonna be sad, of course." But she was like, "No, it's like, yeah, it happens for all of these months." And I'm like, "No, like, how are you gonna be sad in August? How are you gonna be sad in October? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or it could be."
I mean, I'm not knocking on her. It's just shocking to me to ever hear about that,
But what's the thing? Apparently, it's a thing. But and then I think about it, just because it is the holiday season, it is the Halloween, the Thanksgiving, the Christmas, the New Year's. So that's the only thing that I can kind of think of. But rather than that, I just feel like that's just sadness. Like, that's just being in your feelings. That's not depression.
That's one of the most common things, like, when you're in your feelings. For me, like, holidays, whether I have family or I don't, I've been so used to it my whole life. My family's so fucked that it sounds messed up to say, but we're all, here's my family, that's my family. Oh, here's your cousin from 20 fucking years ago that you never met.
Oh, yeah.
Blah, blah. So for me, I don't really get depressed during those times, but I mean, I've hit depression at its darkest, and I think I hit it like maybe 3 months ago at its darkest. I mean, I've overcome a lot, dude. I had the worst fucking thoughts in my mind, like when I lost my grandma. Like, now I have a guardian angel. Like, that's how I tell everybody. Like, I have a guardian angel that looks over me, and
okay, so that's another thing. It's like the way that you attack the depression. It's like, are you just gonna sit around and mope all the time? Or look, you flipped the bad situation into a positive. That's what people need to do.
Working on it necessarily.
It's
a big working progress.
It's not one day to the next. It's not an off and on switch.
I wish it was,
but the fact that you're doing that is the important part.
Yeah. Again, shout out to Georgianne. But I mean,
no, the fact that you're doing that is because, yeah, a therapist would tell you that because you're bringing positivity rather than just mourning on those bad things.
Yeah, bro. Like when my ex would tell me, like, you need to find a counselor. You need this. You need that. I always thought, like, why the fuck do I need a counselor for? Like, nothing's wrong with me. That's what you think.
Oh, I was the same way. And my son's mom would be like, well, let's go to couples therapy. And I was like, nah, fuck all that. Yeah. I'm not gonna let somebody tell me how I feel.
Yeah,
like,
and believe it or not, dude, like in the beginning, like,
it definitely helps.
I had to wait to find a counselor, right? So I went through my work program and they give you like this sheet and they tell you, hey, here's a counselor you can pick, yada yada yada. I'm not one for virtual. Like, I want to do it in person like this.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. So in that process, they're like, we'll call this hotline if you ever have issues, and you can talk to a counselor on the phone, right? Every motherfucking counselor, and this is to everybody out there that feels like, oh man, I can't fight depression, I can't this, I can't that. If you alone know that you have issues, right, and you know that you're fucked up in your own way. Like, I don't know how else to put it. We're all fucked in our own ways. We all have our own little... Everybody is, right?
Absolutely.
If you know that you're messed up and you go to seek help alone knowing that it's going to help you mentally, you've already made the biggest fucking step towards that thing.
It's acknowledging.
And people don't understand that. And all these counselors that I talked to, dude, I was calling like a counselor. Like, my depression was so bad that they would call me 3 times a day. 3 different fucking counselors. In the morning, like at 9 a.m., one at 1, and one like at 8 o'clock. And then they started calling me towards the end, like at 11:30. And they would just leave me like a voicemail, or if I was up, they would check on me. That's how bad it was. Like, I was in the darkest spot in my life. I had lost my grandma, and I had fucked up the best relationship in my life I ever fucking had because I didn't know how to control the hurt that I had from somebody that was missing and not turn it. And I turned it into anger rather than, an open opportunity to realize things. And in all honesty, bro, like, I go to counseling for myself, but in the long run, when you fix yourself, it helps with your family, it helps with your friends, it helps with, going to the gym every day. It helps you mentally. Like,
absolutely.
When I started running again and I started going to the gym again, I was like, holy shit, like, now I go to the gym and I physically beat up my body to the point to where, like, I'm like, fuck, okay, that was good.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Like,
and you leave that, you walk down those stairs, whatever the fuck you do whatever you do, and you walk out knowing you feel good and you put in work. Like, that's how I see it. So that's like my go-to now.
Everybody has their own outlets. Yeah, and I'm the same way.
Some people like pizza.
Like when we started going to the gym and doing that, like I said, I love going because that is my outlet. That's my therapy. Like, when I'm working out, I have the headphones on and I'm just fucking murdering whatever part of my body I'm working out that day. Like, I don't think about anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think about, lawyers and this and all that. I'm just focused, and like, that's what keeps my mind off. And everybody has a different, like, artist, you draw, you write poetry, whatever, but just something to keep your mind off. That's the biggest thing, is preoccupying your mind, because when you're just there in your thoughts, that is the worst that you can do.
The worst thing was for me, I think what it was that I had lost that source of what I had always had to... I learned from that person. Don't get me wrong. I learned, like I said, how to love, and among many things, how to cook and how to be this and how to be nurturing. But I also learned a lot of bad things along the way because, there was one in tugging, hey, you need to be this person. And there was this other person tugging, no, you're acting like a soft bitch. You need to act like this.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, in the process of things, like, you're never too old to fix your fucking self, plain and simple.
Absolutely. Absolutely not.
And,
like, you...
And in all honesty, like, I mean, my ex used to always tell me, she's like, I don't think you love yourself. And I'm like, fuck you talking about? Like, I don't understand what you mean.
You don't. You
really
don't.
And then you look at it and you're like, fuck. Now that I look at it now from, like, my mind's not 100% clear. Like, don't get me wrong, I still hate some people in my life. It's going to take me a long time to either forgive, and I'll never fucking forget, but I will forgive. That's what you need.
Like, don't ever harbor hate, bro. That is a toxic inside that. And I don't.
And it is.
I have cleared every possible issue that I've had with people. Like, I've reached out to people that I haven't talked to in years because we fought, or we had a physical fight, or we had some disagreements. I reached out and I was like, look, I'm sorry, man. I was a dick, or I was a piece of shit. and we mend that,
Yeah.
right? I'm cool with people now. There's not one person on earth that can say fuck that guy because of this and that.
Shit,
Because I would
plenty can
apologize.
say that about me right now, but I mean, like, it's just I grew up with this attitude of like I'm not gonna give a fuck about what you think. Like you can think
Well,
I'm a
you
piece
should
of
always think that,
shit,
but at the same time,
but I was on another level.
don't give them reasons to think that.
And that was my thing. Like I was just this little fucking dude that didn't give a flying fuck and gave people reasons to not give a fuck. Honestly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I was the same way. But as you get older, bro, like you don't want that. Now that you have a kid, you don't want that. You don't want that
Yeah.
energy. That's why I did what I did, and I'm cool with everybody. Like everybody. Like
I mean, like I haven't talked to my I have an adopted brother, right? And I told you about him, the guy that tattoos and everything. He's my brother. So when everything happened in my life, like, I mean, of course it was his grandmother, and he took it a different way because he was adopted. It's not blood, you know what I mean? So she treated him like her grandson, but it's always going to be different with somebody that's not blood. And it sounds fucked up to say that, but
I mean, it's some people don't take it that way. Some people they're connected more with people that are not their blood. Like blood doesn't make you family. Family makes you somebody that holds it down for you. So, but I get what you're saying. Like normally somebody is just like, well, that wasn't my actual brother, or this isn't that. But I get what you're saying.
Nah, dude. But for the most part, like my brother and I've had a handful of like gay friends. Like my gay friends have been like people that checked on me every day, like, hey man, you good? Like I know you're not good. Like be honest with me, are you good? And the fact that they approach it like that, like, hey man, I know you're not good, but I want you to be good, and I care about you.
Those are the best friends.
And those are the best friends. Like just not like nowadays, right? Like for the longest time, I would never like fucking tell my brother I love you, right? Like my adopted brother, because in my mind it's like, why the fuck is another dude telling another dude he loves him, right?
Oh yeah.
But over the years, I've learned that you can't be like that.
Nah, dude, I'm big on I love you, dude. Like I tell my son I love him maybe like at least like 50 times a day.
And that's me, dude. Like, and then
I'm big on that.
Like when I got my stepsons in my life from my past relationship, like my stepsons were like, holy fuck, like this is a whole nother world. Like now I have a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
And but it's awesome, bro. It's so fucking awesome because you get to adapt on another level of things. You get to learn how this kid is, and you get to learn how to love them in a certain way and figure out, hey, what's gonna make this person different. But in all actuality, bro, my stepsons made me better. And I know it didn't seem like that, but they honestly did. Like when
they always bring some like I was mentioning, I don't see my daughter like I want to, but you always be my daughter, and they affect you. Like technically, she was my first child. You know what I mean? Because I was raising her before.
And although it was like a year and a half, our relationship, right? Maybe like a year. I don't know. I'm bad with fucking dates and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is that those were my boys. Like I considered them mine. I didn't consider them any less. I didn't consider them any more.
But don't you? That's why I am so hesitant and apprehensive to start a relationship with kids involved, because now look where you're at, where you're not 100% together. Well, I don't know the situation that you have with your ex.
It's just.
But the thing is, like,
it's not a bad situation.
Those kids get affected more than you guys.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the boys are like really, really like understanding of things. Like I'm still in the picture, and they know, like,
But let's just say they were younger. Let's say they were 5. Let's say they were 6.
Like 5 and 6, 4 and 2, whatever the fuck the case may be. No matter what the difference was, like it hurt. Like it does. It still hurts.
I'm not saying about you. I'm saying the aspect of the kids.
Oh yeah, I mean
they get affected.
It bothers them, yeah, for sure. And
the
problem
is
there
a terrible part.
and the problem nowadays, and I am not knocking on females. The fact is some of these girls want to go and just take advantage of somebody and involve their kids now. It's like part of their thing.
So this is my thing. I'm knocking females. You don't want them. I'll put them on blast. There's a lot of females, because the majority of them have custody of their kids. They're willing to fucking put their kids in front of a new dude every year. Oh, and all that bullshit. Now fuck that. Like men do it too, but men don't have their kids as much as women do. So women do that more. And honestly, that to me, you're a piece of shit. You do that, you're a piece of shit. Yeah. When you don't have intentions, like. My son only met one woman that he knew that I was dating, and unfortunately it just didn't work out. But I told myself, I'm never going to bring a woman around until I'm like, hey, like, we're gonna get married, we're gonna fucking move into the house, that's when my son will be in the picture, because then he'll know. But before that, like, even if I'm dating somebody for like 6 months, I'm like, dude, you're not gonna see my son until like we understand that we're gonna be together forever, like that type of thing, because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go through that. Like, I know women, I know a lot of women who have their kids and they fucking meet some dude and they fucking introduce them to their kids, or they have play dates with the dude's kids after like a month or two or talking. And I'm
Nah, I
like,
didn't meet the boys maybe like 2 to 3 months in.
yeah.
And she didn't meet my daughter shit till maybe 4 or 5 months in. So I had known of the boys already. She didn't know my daughter, but it wasn't a bad thing. Like, we knew we were bound to like be this blended family.
But then think about it. Look, and then let's just say y'all don't talk again. But then your children, like her children, know. Like, her children are old enough. Your daughter's what, 3?
Yeah, she's 3.
She's not gonna remember her.
Shit.
No. Trust me. My son was 3 when he met, one of my exes that I brought him around. He doesn't remember her now, and he's 6.
Me and her have been separated maybe 3 months now. My daughter talks about her every fucking day.
Trust me when I say it would fade
I
away.
mean, everything's gonna fade. I'm gonna fade in the boys' eyes.
But no. Those 10-year-olds are always going to remember you, even if it's just a speck in their memory. But they're gonna be like, oh, this guy dated my mom back when I was 10. Your 3-year-old daughter's not gonna be like, oh yeah, like, this is a girl that my dad dated when I was 3. It's not gonna happen. That's what I'm saying. It's just so much weirder. That's why my preference would be, and it's fucked up, right? And I'm gonna say this because this is the truth. My preference would be, to date somebody without kids, just because, and obviously I don't want to be hypocritical because I have a son, but because I can't go through that emotional, like, depression, bro.
I mean,
like,
it
hurt me.
nobody wants to even think about the fact of something going south. And we have plenty of friends that we went with in school that had kids with different dads, but along the ways they've made it
5
work.
kids, 4 kids.
I'm not gonna say any names, but wow,
6 kids. I think there was one that did have 6 kids, and she was crazy.
That's crazy. But no, for the most part, man, like, I mean, I would do it again, like I would, but I don't see myself doing it with anybody else. I have faith in me going to counseling and doing everything I got to do to fix what I got going on. In all actuality, bro, the fact of the matter is that I'm just a messed up individual mentally, and I just got to get help. And a lot of people don't realize that about themselves, and they want to manipulate relationships, and they want to take advantage of situations, and they want to make it seem like it's somebody else. And
or
I think
they
the
do
problem
know,
was
they
is
do
that was
know,
the
but
problem
they
with me and my
make
marriage, was that we were both fucked up in the head, and we never realized it, that we just kept egging each other on. And I think that's where we both just kind of meshed heads. But now, like, she goes to counseling and she goes to therapy. Now I go to counseling. We have a better understanding of things.
No, it's good, bro. I commend you for doing that, because it is a big step. It is a good step, because you're vulnerable when you do that stuff, right? I stopped doing it because I feel like I'm back in the place where I'm normally at, because I consider myself a very, very mentally strong person, right?
Yeah, not me.
Now I do, but when my kids, when that came into the picture, that fucked me up.
Yeah.
Where to the point, because I'm the type of person who's like, I can fix everything. Like, if there's something going on, I'll fix it. But when it's like something out of your control, that's when it fucked me up, man. I was partying a lot. I was doing drugs. I was like just trying to numb myself all the time.
I mean, and that was me. Like, after my divorce, I went numb until I met this recent relationship, and it
always takes a person to get you out of those.
I mean,
it's a person.
It's a
gets you out of
person,
those.
and it's just this person. I thought, you can look back, right, and you could say, oh, I love my wife. Like, I love my wife. My wife was like my world. My wife was this. Like, I loved her. That's why I married her. That's why I put a ring on her finger. That's why I gave her my last name. All these fucking speculations of all this shit, right?
You shouldn't have got married. I'll tell you that right now. Period. I don't believe in marriage. Period. You shouldn't have got married.
Yeah, well, I mean, you shouldn't have either, but we will.
I never got married.
You didn't? I thought you did.
No, I told you. I never got legally married.
I got legally
married.
Married.
I'm down to...
I signed the papers.
No, I would never sign those papers, because there's no reason. And then plus, I'm not a big fan, and I don't even want to say it because of what people would think, but this is the truth.
You're a dick.
No, I'm not a big fan of monogamy, bro. I feel like men are meant to fucking spread their seed among the their environment. Honestly, that's how I feel.
I mean, that's how people see it, man. But honestly,
but no, like biologically, that's how we're made. You know what I mean? Like, why do you think we produce so much fucking sperm every day? You think that's just for one woman to take on? No, man. Like, why do you think we're more like sexually? We're just more sexual beings than women are. Like, why do you think
yeah,
that
by
is?
far. I mean, and that was like, going back to it again, like, in relationships, people are like, oh, well, or like females take it as you just want to, fuck them pretty much and things like that. And it's not right. And us as males don't think like that. I'll be the first motherfucker.
Oh no, dude! I didn't think like that up until my son's mom. I was going crazy. I went crazy.
And after my marriage, honestly, bro, shit, I was numb. I didn't give a fuck about anybody. I didn't give a fuck about.
You were just fucking all crazy.
No, I wasn't even doing that. I was to myself. Like that was probably the one time in my life I could say where I just sat to myself, and I figured myself out, and I got financially better. And
that's always good.
Yeah.
But you don't do like most guys, like when you're heartbroken and you just go fuck like everything that you can.
Even now, I'll admit I can't do it. I just don't know. I am in love with somebody, and it may sound corny to people like, oh, you got...
No, hey, that's absolutely fine. I'm just one of those people is like, I know I can train myself to be faithful. I can be faithful, and I have been, like I said, in the past relationships, but I'm the type of person to
Roku now or what?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm the type of person to
It's a free UFC fight right now.
I handle my problems with women, man, and that's my problem. I handle my issues.
I mean, everybody has been down that path, male or female, where females have gone through males when they're in a numb phase, and males have gone through females, and so on. But the fact of the matter is that as of now, man, like I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm more mentally ready to just fix myself than deal with other people's bullshit or other things, honestly. Like, that's what it boils down to. Like, I don't want to be... I honestly, bro, I'll be the first motherfucker to say it. I'd be emotionally... I'd feel fucking horrible. Because when I used to, like, go and visit my grandma before everything happened, and I sat down... My mom was totally against my girlfriend. Like, oh, fuck this and fuck that. My mom's been like that with everybody. Shout out to mom for scarring me and everything.
Hey, my mom's the same way. She never liked any of my girlfriends except for one, and it wasn't my son's mom.
My mom's on another level, bro. She really is. Like, I mean, I love my mom, but at the same time, going to counseling and stuff like that, you sit down, you think, and you're like, fuck, like, this might be the source of a lot of my issues. My enabler.
Well, I mean, to an extent, because you're probably right. The only reason I am the way that I am, the good parts are because of my mom. Like, if it wasn't for my mom, I would be fucking dead or in jail. Sure.
By far, my mom kept structure, but the way she did it wasn't 100% the right way. But as for being taught how to love and being taught how to nurture and how to give affection and how to do flowers on Sundays and how to do all these things and do all that shit was my grandma. It wasn't nobody else. Like, and people, and like, even like my ex-wife, she would tell me, like, how are you like this being the way you were raised? Like, you were raised fucking horrible. And even my ex-girlfriend now, or my girlfriend, well, I don't know, we're just in the middle of something. The fact of the matter is 2021, I still love her, and I only want to be with her and have sex to her and just do things to her. Anyways,
that's a bold statement, but go ahead.
The fact of the matter is, it's the truth. Like,
cool,
that's, I don't... If it wasn't for... honestly, if it wasn't for my ex, like, being there, even though I fucked up, like, she could have easily just fucking said, fuck you, you fucked up, and that's all there is to it. I want nothing to do with you. But she was a big pillar to help me get fixed, bro, honestly. And
that's good. Like I said,
and in those dark moments
person,
bro, I'll be the first motherfucker to admit shit. I took a handful of pills one night thinking, like, okay, this is it. I'm out this bitch. I don't give a fuck about nobody. I didn't think about nobody in that moment. Woke up fine. I was like, fuck, I guess I didn't take enough. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I never
I
put the trigger on things, but but those thoughts were there. I think everybody has those thoughts.
And even like when my relationship started, my recent one, like, I was addicted to painkillers because I was doing such physical work and fucking my body up and fucking this up and fucking that up. But then, like, when I met her, like, you know, I admitted to her, like, this, that, and the other. And she's like, you know, that's not healthy, blah, blah, blah. And I got off of them. Like, this person, what I was going back to earlier was like, you know, I thought I loved my wife, right? And everybody thinks, like, oh, when you love somebody, that's everything. No, 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 no. You have to fucking like each other. You can walk in every day and be like, I don't like you today, but I mean, I love you, right? And people might see this as, well, how the fuck you love somebody that you don't like? No, I'm just having an off day. I don't like the way the day's going.
Yeah, yeah,
but I
yeah.
still love you as a person.
Yeah.
You got to build, to me, you have to be with your best friend.
Yes.
That's what the fuck you
I
need.
say that all the time. You have to be best friends before you even get in a relationship.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I failed to do for the majority of my life.
And that was me. Like, I thought my ex-wife was like my best friend, right? Because we got along. But this person was like my best friend, and it was the.
But in like actual chemistry, yeah. Because like for me, my son's mom, like we didn't have like a lot of things in common at all, but we were just attracted to other. Like like I said, I don't like her. I don't hate her. I really dislike her, but she is gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? Like my son is a very very handsome little boy, and he's gonna be a good looking guy when he gets older. You know what, man? I appreciate you giving me one, but man, this is tough, dude. It's tough. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't drink beer or stuff anymore.
no, it's not my preference. That's why I'm drinking this
Shout out
liquor
to
here.
White Claw. But anyway,
Yeah, fuck that. Anyway, so yeah, like. There's things like, you know, I think we were just attracted to each other, and we tried to make it work just because of that attraction, but we weren't meant to be. And I'll tell you this, and I've said this time and time again, and people like look at me weird, and they're like, why would you even do that? I didn't fall in love with my son's mom until, well, let me rephrase that. I didn't think that I fell in love with her until she was already like halfway pregnant, dude.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I didn't love her in the beginning.
Oh, bro, and I mean,
like I liked her.
Yeah,
but,
and that's common with any fucking relationship.
But and then this is my thing. This is another thing. It's like I knew that I didn't love her. Like I knew that I didn't love her when I cheated on her. You know what I mean? You don't do that on somebody you love. Like when you care about somebody, you don't want to ever put them in any type of distress, right? And I did it. Sometimes I would do it without even hesitating. Like it was just like a natural thing. You know what I mean? But to me, it's just like that's how I knew I didn't love her, because there was times where I knew what I was doing was wrong, and she did find out, and she obviously did. She did find out, she'll like feel some type of way, right? But I mean, I just didn't care. There's more to it. You know what I'm saying? There's
Always
a lot.
is,
There's more to the story. I will never say that anybody ever forced me to cheat. But my son's mom definitely pushed me in that direction a lot, you know, because of the issues that we had. Again, not an excuse, but at the same time, if she was a little bit different, I would have never cheated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, bro, like we all fuck up along the lines. We all take things a certain way, or everybody has their own way on things, and that's the part that sucks. Is like, in this relationship, like I said, bro, I literally had my best friend. I literally had my go-to. Like if I ever said, hey, well, let's go eat this, like it was like, bam, all right, we're gonna go do that. Hey, let's go do this, like bam, we're gonna go. That was never ever fucking hesitation. Like, come on, let's go fucking do this.
That's what I'm saying. The chemistry is there, and this is a thing that I was talking to my mom about just recently, where she was like, oh, why don't you have a girlfriend? You should have a girlfriend. I was like, no, it's just like, I'm in a weird place. Like for me, it's just like if I want somebody that I have chemistry with, they have to be closer to my age, or if not older. Like the older women that I've been with, like 2 years older than me, we have great chemistry. Like we get each other, we fucking vibe, we can chill all day, whatever. But they're older, so their outlook of kids isn't exactly where I want, because I want more kids, and because they're like 34, 35, they're like, oh, I don't know if that's gonna happen, blah blah blah. And then my mom's like, well, get somebody younger, because I've always dated younger women, right? Not like crazy young, but then I'm like, if I'm dating like the 23-year-olds now, 20, 21, we don't connect.
Yeah,
Like we don't
it's
get along.
nothing
Like
there.
we don't talk about the same shit. Like I don't vibe with them. Like they're not my friends, type of thing.
Yeah,
So
and that's usually how
that's
it
the
goes.
problem. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Nah, I mean, I'm at the perfect age. I'm at the perfect everything. Like I said, I was in a dark spot and I fucked up. I mean, plain and simple.
You're gonna work at it. Y'all be back together.
I mean, it's within time. Who knows? It might be. It might not. But the fact of the matter is that my mindset right now is on me. Like that. That's
Yeah,
it.
you gotta love yourself first before you can love anybody else.
And that's the thing, like, dude, like a lot of people, like a lot of guys that if they ever watch this or whatever the fuck, like if you want to call yourself an alpha, if you want to call yourself this, like I thought I was the meanest, baddest motherfucker in the world doing all this physical work and doing this and just beating myself up every day, right? But you literally don't know that the main fucking thing you need to worry about is that fucking brain up there and those emotions.
Well, you guys operate differently, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But at the end of it all, you know what you do with your experience in life, and then also with your maturity. Like dude, I am 100 times mature than I was 3 years ago.
I mean,
You know
I'm
what
still like a
saying?
big kid, but I mean,
No, I'm talking about when it comes to life issues.
Oh,
like life
yeah.
problems. Like, yeah, dude. Like, I go to my son at the trampoline parks and I wild out with him. You know what I mean? Like, I go crazy.
I mean, you have to when it
You know
like
what I
that. That
mean?
was me with my stepsons. Like, I'm just a big kid. Like,
But when it comes to your self-reflection, and when it comes to your self-evaluation of how you are and how you can better yourself, with time, with age, it happens. Some people are blessed more than others. Like some people can realize that at a younger age.
or they have parents that notice it and help them.
Or
through it and shit.
they grew up with both parents in the household,
Yeah.
and that's very rare in our
And
in our
sometimes
case.
people like us look at it like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you don't even know what life's like, bitch. You had your dad and your mom. Like,
It could be.
and some people look at it like that. And I used to be that person.
I used to look at it like that,
I'm like,
but
man, fuck you, dude. Who the fuck are you?
but that's just our own insecurities, lashing out because we didn't have that. That's all it
Exactly.
is. You know what I mean?
And now that I look at it, dude, I'm like 31, and my dad like is in and out of my life. Like, we talk. I try to talk to him, but sometimes I'm just like, dude, like, I fucking hate you, bro. And I shouldn't be like that. Like, no matter what, like,
That's what I'm saying.
if it wasn't for my dad, like, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to have my daughter. I wouldn't be able to admit my stepsons or my spouse or
That's what I'm saying.
enjoy
Like,
my grandma and
you
things
need
like
to
that.
you need to reflect and you need to understand. I'm the exact same way. Like my dad I never lived with him, hardly there, never taught me how to be a man, right? Anything like that. I don't hate him. Like I never hated him. But to me it's just like he kind of wants to have more relationship now, you know what I mean? But I'm like, dude, I'm a grown ass man. I don't need nothing from you. I don't need advice. I don't need money. I don't need nothing. So I'm not ever going to have you close to me because you weren't there when I needed you, bro.
Yeah.
Like I would cry because I wanted to talk to somebody about some guy issues when I was younger. And I didn't have nobody to talk to, bro. I couldn't talk to about my uncles because I didn't want my uncles to judge me. I didn't want to talk to about my older brother because, there's just some things that you don't want to share. Like there's just so many things that you could only be like, man, like my dad would understand. Like my dad wouldn't judge me. He would give me advice. He would be there, and he wasn't there, dog.
Yeah, and I mean that's usually how it goes, bro. I mean it's just
that is the biggest reason as my main priority in my life is my son, because I never want him to feel that way. My son knows that he's in trouble sometimes when he does something small, but he'll tell me. He's like, you know what, I'm sorry, but I did this. And I'm like, you know what, I don't even got to discipline you because I love your honesty, but just understand, like, you know that you did wrong, and you're trying to correct it, you're trying to fix it, right?
Yeah.
So those little things are what changes and what stops those generational curses of like growing up without your dad or growing up without emotions. Because you know what I'm saying? This is one thing that I will give, like, you know what I mean? Like, I grew up with a very Hispanic background, and Hispanics are not tuned into mental health at all. Like, they don't know about depression. They don't know about, they're just like, suck it up, keep moving and keep going, right? And I get it, but that is a factor, dog. Like, that is a factor. And my son is he's gonna be real comfortable with everything, telling me whatever he wants to tell me, feelings, whatever the fuck, because we grow up in a very macho culture, right? Which is cool because it helps us get through life a lot easier. Because I feel like you're not a bitch, so you're a man handling your business. But at the same time, it's like we have to have an understanding of, hey, you know what? Sometimes you're not your best self. Sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need to talk to your issues with somebody. You know what I mean? So Little things,
For
man.
sure. And I mean, that's the good thing about it. And that was me too. Like, if I didn't like attempt to break the curse, and I didn't attempt to do this, and I didn't attempt to get help, and I didn't attempt anything, but at the same time, it comes from people also being on my ass to do it in a sense, you know?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for those people out there, shout out to all of them. But, you know, like, for the most part, it took a lot to get me out of a dark place, and that was including, like, me thinking of my daughter, but mostly, like, I would have to sit down and, like, reflect on the fact of, like, you know, your grandma just passed away, and you're trying to go somewhere that, you know, isn't going to do anything for you right now. Like, she's looking at you like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, I didn't want you to do this. Like, I didn't want it to be like that. But, I mean, I had literally knew, like, I had told my girlfriend, I was like, dude, like, I know the day my grandma dies, like, I don't know how I'm going to take it, but I know it's going to fuck me up eventually. And it did.
Of course it is, man. I mean, but the thing is, you gotta,
Was she
like
a
you
G
said,
now?
like
She up there hanging out the gates,
like you said,
slanging.
the first step is acknowledging what it is, because like I'll talk to my friend about it, and she'll be like, you know, I have anxiety, I have depression. I was like, why? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, that's a terrible way to go about things. Like, you should know what makes you depressed. You should know what
Yeah.
makes you anxious. You know what I mean? Like, that shit just doesn't come about
I
you.
mean, though, honestly, bro, like, I had anxiety and shit, and I didn't know where it came from for a while. I'll be honest. Like, I fucking started losing hair on my head, getting a bald spot.
No, but you should, you know.
Well, I mean,
You know, like, people know, like, they just maybe want to suppress it, they don't want to deal with it, whatever. But people know.
a lot of people, and I've been working overnight for like 10 years of my life, right? I've always worked nights, or I get up stupid early in the morning. One of the two. I'm always up at night working and sleeping during the day, and then trying to cram whatever I can in during the day. A lot, like, fucking, I think the statistics were like 86% of Americans that work nights automatically suffer from depression, because the body is sleeping when it's supposed to be up. We weren't made to work nights. We were made to work during the day, and we were made to sleep at night.
I agree. And you know what I mean? That could definitely be a factor. But, okay, so you're telling me a reason. That's what I'm saying. You acknowledge what's going on instead of just being well.
That, among working with people that just fucking bitch and cry.
This
and,
is another.
things
That's
like
what I'm saying.
that,
She was, because whenever we're hanging out and we're around a lot of people, she'll be like, I'm just getting anxiety because there's too many people. And I get that, because I get that in a sense. I don't get anxiety. I get more angry because I fucking hate people around me. But you acknowledge it, though, right? So that's what I'm saying. But when she tells me, it's like, oh, well, you know, I don't know why I feel this way. And I'm like, you need to. Like, that's not a good thing. Like, you shouldn't just feel that just one afternoon. Like, that. No, you need to fix it.
And that was the thing for me, too. Like, I started realizing here and there, like, I started realizing before my grandma passed away, I was like, man, something's wrong. Like, something's off. Like, my sleeping's off. I'm not eating as much. I'm not this, I'm not that. And I couldn't pinpoint it. And all my thing was like, oh, I'll just work another day this week, and, you know, I'll work it off. And I kept doing that. Fucking working, and then ignoring the fact of that I have other things going on in my life, like a spouse and my daughter coming over on the weekends. And for a while, bro, I was just working, thinking that, you know, chasing the dollars the right way. Don't get me wrong, money's great. Like, one of the fucking best things, but it's also one of the worst things in the world when you think about it.
It comes with it, man. Like, that's another common problem with men. Is like, you sacrifice a lot of your time, your health, your relationships, because you're chasing, you know, that, you know, your career, your promotion, your finances. But then again, you know, other things suffer, and vice versa. But everybody needs to make some sacrifices here and there, and they only they know, like, what they need to do.
Yeah, mostly for me, it was just like, you know, chasing the dollar. And then, and dude, believe it or not, unhealthy eating, believe it or not, can make you fucking depressed. People that eat so much bad food all day and don't exercise, you become sluggish, and you become down on yourself.
Yeah, you feel bad. And I get that. I definitely get that.
I eat horrible sometimes. But I mean, like, as long as you go put in work and you do your thing and you do this and you do that, you're gonna come out eventually.
You can maintain yourself and you can better yourself, man. But it's just, I'm big. It's just, I'm not. Excuse me. I'm not like the one to be like
tacos.
We're gonna go get tacos after this for sure.
But
it, like, when the people is just like, well, you know, you're really not trying to get better. You're just wishing things to get better. Like, you need to put in work, bro. Like, my thing is, like I said, I was depressed. I acknowledged what was wrong with me. I made a plan. I fucking did it day by day, because I always told myself, it's like, this is not gonna go away tomorrow. Like, I need to take it day by day. And day by day came, and after a year, everything that I had in my plan, I crossed it out. And I was like, look, that helped me out. so much to where I don't feel like everybody has their bad days. Everybody's sad. Everybody gets there in their feelings. But when I would like when you're depressed, like we're talking, like where you're like wanting to kill yourself, you can get out of that for
Yeah,
sure.
for
You
sure.
need to put in the work instead of just being like, oh, fuck. Or my biggest thing is like people that take medication for fucking depression, like dude, like that's not necessary. Like not necessary.
It depends. Now, it's good for anxiety and things like that.
Nah, man.
No,
No.
anxiety, like, anxiety is one of the biggest killers in the United States, bro.
Okay, but okay. Why do you get anxious? Give me one reason why you were anxious. Tell me
Me?
that. Yeah.
Oh, that comes from my anger.
Okay, what makes you angry?
Fucking everything.
No, that's not like an actual answer.
Literally, like,
No, that's
dude,
tell me what makes
bro,
you angry.
Well, before, I used to be
Like,
to the
what are
point,
your
like,
triggers?
if you fuck... Oh, man.
Like I said,
People, like, like,
anxiety
fucking
is
people questioning me was one of them. And, I mean, you can't be like that. Like, people are going to question you no matter what.
That's what I'm saying. So you
But
okay?
I'm
You
more
acknowledge
annoyed.
it.
I'm more annoyed by people like fucking whining about, oh, I gotta do this after all. Most of my stress and shit has come from work, and I've drug at home, honestly. And I think that's where a lot of it started at. Among the way, like I said, I was raised. My mom was the type like, you fucking throw hands first and ask questions later.
But so okay, so the majority of your anxiety comes from work. So you know what you could do? What can you do?
Work more.
Work less, work somewhere else, change your career. Obviously, it's not that easy.
Yeah, no.
It's not easy, but the thing is, you can cure your anxiety without medication.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is like people look at me right and they're like, oh, why do you like to do what you do? I'm like, bro, like I like to do what I do. A boss isn't on my ass. He's not on my ass. I get to do what I want. Like, I mean, I do what I want, but I get to work at my own pace, get to listen to music.
But okay, but then again, it goes back to the, is there more pros and cons to what you're doing?
For me, there's pros to it because, I mean, I've never been in my best physical shape till I really started doing physical labor. Among, like
yeah, there's factors, there's reasons why you like it, but my biggest issue though is just like, look, there's a problem that you have. Nothing's gonna be perfect. You're not gonna have a perfect job.
And that was me at first.
You have to deal with shit at life. My thing is, people need to be mentally stronger because they are mentally stronger to where they can cure themselves. If you take medication for anxiety, you're just like, it's stupid. It's fucking stupid. Like. It's like you wanting to lose weight and you're just taking a pill to try to lose weight. No, fool, you need to fucking get up off your ass and put in work. Like if you know, like my friend, she gets real bad anxiety when we're around a lot of people. So you know what we do? We go to places that there's not a lot of people. And does she get anxiety? No. Real simple. Why would you be around a lot of people and then take meds to fucking make you feel better when you already have the cure?
The thing is that when you like you could go around not having a lot of people, right? But the thing is like imagine having to go somewhere with your kids where there's a lot of people. Those meds help sustain. I mean, I believe in medication, honestly, me personally. Like me, I do. The motherfucking pills make me feel good.
Nah.
They do. Here's the thing. You can, for instance, we take it like this, right? You missed a meal, right? And you're somebody that works out. You're gonna take a scoop of protein powder, right? Because it's something that's gonna help you out. It's something that's gonna sustain you. It's gonna keep you stable. It's gonna keep you full. It's gonna do this. It's gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
These pills aren't meant for you to fucking take and feel better. What it is to help you get to that little spot that you need to get to. Some people can never connect that full fucking line. No matter how we see it, not all people are 100% mentally stable like you. That's where it starts from.
So that's the only place where I do like kind of keep it a gray area because not everybody's the same.
The thing is like you had your dark spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I've had my dark spot, and your ex could have her dark spot, and your fucking mom could have her dark spot. My mom could have hers. Everybody has their dark spot. How dark was that dark spot? We could just call it a dark spot, but for all you know, we could barely be fucking rubbing on the fucking gray white area.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I distinguish depression as depression where like, man, you want to end your life, like you are not yourself. There's something wrong. To where you're just having a bad day, a sad day. That's not depression. That's what I'm saying. There's differences.
I mean, like I said, it's good to surround yourself with good people. It's good to be verbal with people, and it's good to be things like this. But when I started getting my meds, like. They didn't like fucking make me feel like a zombie to where I was like walking and like, what'd you say? Yeah, I love you. No, it wasn't like that. It was that little extra kick in the ass to say, hey man, You got to go this direction, bro. And there's nothing wrong with it.
But that's what. But you don't need medication for that. That's just
Shit.
one. No, that's just one of those days. Like, hey, I'm just having a bad day. I'm having a sad day. I'm in my feelings today. That's it. You don't need medication to get you out of that. You just need to handle it because you're not gonna have those days every day.
But then again, though, too, some people are on heavy shit. Like, you got to think about the med levels too. Some of these meds are just there to sustain a little bit. That's it. But
that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's necessary at all. From the little bit to people that are medicating themselves daily, every day, all day. Yeah. I don't think none of it is necessary.
To me, they've helped a lot. And the thing is too, look, you got to look at it now, right? Anxiety, people go bald, people this, people that. Those pills help you reduce your anxiety to be able to grow hair back and to be able to do things like that. That's what you gotta understand. Like, I mean, fucking people lose shit over.
You can reduce your anxiety without taking pills.
Or Rogaine for your hair. Yeah, I know that.
Well, you can do that. I'm saying no. I'm saying is you want to reduce your anxiety, you can do it without medication. Very plain and simple. Like, acknowledge what the problem is, and try to fix it. I mean, not everything is just easy. I'm right. I know that I'm saying it like it's an easy thing to do. I know it's not easy, but why do people always want to take the easy road? Let me just pop a pill to feel better. Fuck no. Like, I think do something to make yourself feel better.
If it goes so deep, like for me, it's gone so deep that it goes to my childhood. Like, it goes to back when I was maybe 5 or 6.
That's what I'm saying, bro. People have their bad days. People have their. I get in my feelings. Like, I'm there sitting. I'm like, man, you know what? I wish I did have a fucking good relationship with my dad. I could have fucking called him because this just happened to me, and I'm happy, and I want him to be a part of it. People get in their feelings, bro. I don't have to fucking pop a pill to fucking make me get back in.
Your feelings are talking about your dad, right? Some people's feelings are, forgive me for saying this, but man, I wish my fucking dad never touched me like that, or they threw me to the fucking curb, or my parents sold me. Shit like that is what I'm talking about. That people do need that kick.
Or they're like, man, you know, I do miss this person that passed away. You know, it's really hitting me hard. I get it, dog. Trust me.
I mean, it's just. But the thing is that you're not gonna always be on them. It's the fact of that it helps you in the process a little bit. And believe it or not, bro, every fucking counselor I've talked to recommends it. Every counselor I've talked to. All of them. Shit, 98. Forgive me.
They don't, but they don't. Counselors don't. They're not allowed to prescribe it.
Some of them are. If they're licensed and certified.
Psychiatrists are only the people that can give out medication.
Yeah, psychologists. Now your counselors can contact your doctor and send their recommendations, and then your doctor takes you, does your blood work, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, and then they say, okay, cool, you're good for this, blah blah blah, and that's it.
I don't know how it works. We never talked about it because I'm like, it's not even.
Well, for me, for me, I did, and honestly, like, I'll be the first person to say I was the first motherfucker that didn't want to take pills because I didn't want to feel like somebody that just loves somebody because of a pill.
You shouldn't, man. Honestly, I'll tell you this right now, as a friend, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't take it. If you feel any different from you coming off of it, that's all that means is you have to subsidize that with something else instead of medication. That's all it is.
I mean, like I said, for the most part,
like you said,
they don't change anything.
The working out, yes, they do, bro. That's the whole point of taking medication. They do change the way that you think.
They change small amounts. Like, the thing is like, it depends on how much you fucking take and how much you need. Like, I'm not on a big dose. I'm only on like 50 milligrams. But I mean, like, for the most part,
unnecessary. It's unnecessary.
Shit, it gives me fucking energy and it helps me out a lot, believe it or not, mentally. Like, it really does. Like,
I'm pretty sure it's just a mental thing, bro, because you could feel like that without it. I guarantee.
I mean, but for the most part, the gym and running and things like that.
That's what I'm saying. Those are things that you can do to combat those that depression, that feeling. You know, those type of days.
I've sat down and I've like rewrote like for instance, I found my grandma's cookbook, right, and like it was all smeared and.
Yeah, you rewrote it, made it better, and that puts you at an ease, right? That made you feel better.
I mean, but there's only so much things that could keep you fucking busy in life
there's only so many things that can keep you depressed, bro. I'm telling you, people find excuses. Put in the work, man. Trust me. Put in the work.
I do put in the work.
Put in the work. Apparently not.
I mean, I do. I mean, it's just like
you don't need medication. Trust me. You don't need it.
I need tacos.
All right, look, man, because I'm fucking starving, dude, and we need to go get some food. But I really do appreciate you talking to me about this, because people don't like to talk about their issues and their problems. You know, I'm sure there's way more things that we can discuss and other topics. But for now, thank you, for sharing your part, and we'll connect again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We'll see how things are going, how things are progressing. I would really love to continue this conversation with you, saying, "Hey, you know what? I stopped taking these fucking drugs." That's what I would. That's what I would want.
I would like to end this conversation with tacos.
Let's go get some tacos, bro. All right.
Alright.
Appreciate you. I
For
love
sure.
you.
Me too.
Let's get some food, bro.
Let's go.